What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more fighting. UFC 251 is almost here. UFC's Fight Island, they got it done. Excellent card. You got some star power. Most importantly, the main event, they got it done last minute. You have a title fight between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. The two have had bad blood, and I cannot wait for this fight. I want to see how it all plays out. I want to see the event. Fight Island, it should be lit. If you are interested in getting this ESPN Plus pay-per-view, utilize my link. It is in the description box of all of my videos. Now you have a few options. You can order UFC 251 by itself, or for $20 more, you can get UFC 251 pay-per-view and ESPN Plus for a whole year. Look at the site for more details. I'm looking forward to the fight, and I'll be back on Saturday after the fight, let you know how they went. Use that link. I'll see you guys after the fights. We working.
Saul Canelo Alvarez, very good chance he fights British opponent with Callum Smith and John Ryder in the running. Saul Canelo Alvarez wants to fight the best, and British pair Callum Smith and John Ryder each have a very good chance of getting the opportunity to face him, says Golden Boy president Eric Gomez. The Mexican superstar is considering opponents for September 14th in Las Vegas at a behind closed doors venue and wants the top guys that are available. Billy Joe Saunders, who holds the WBO super middleweight title, withdrew from the running citing a lack of preparation time, and Gomez reacted, "Some champions are not available," but asked about whether Canelo could face a Brit in Smith or Ryder. Promoter Gomez exclusively told Sky Sports, "There is a very good chance. There are a couple of guys we are looking at as a possibility. Smith is the unbeaten WBA super middleweight champion who narrowly beat Ryder last year." But Gomez acknowledged that a US-based opponent would be easier, adding, "We don't have to deal with any visa restrictions that have been imposed by the government. If there is someone already here in the US, that helps. It is more difficult now because of the restrictions. The borders are not all open, so it isn't easy to bring some fighters to the US. It all depends on the negotiations. We are not living in the world that we lived in last year. Canelo will be taking a significant pay cut. It depends on the negotiations. Anybody willing to come to the table and be reasonable, he will fight. We are not discarding any of the top guys. Sergey Derevianchenko and David Lemieux, both ex-opponents of Gennady Golovkin, are also options for Canelo's next fight. The top-ranked guys and a few champions that are out there, is how Gomez described the short list of possibilities. He added, "If you look at Canelo's career, he has always wanted to fight the best, and it's no different here. He still wants to fight the best. But some really good fighters are available to fight Canelo in September, and that's what we are working on now. We're talking to him and presenting different ideas for him to be able to fight in September. The big concern that he has is the protocols. If he fights in September, there will be no fans. We are in communication with him, and soon he will make a decision. Does he want to fight without fans or wait until there is some sort of normalcy again? Canelo is a young man in his prime years, and he wants to take advantage of the fact that he can still fight at a high level. To take a year off would be very damaging in his prime. That is the motivation. He wants to keep proving that he is the best fighter in the world." After Saunders withdrew himself, Smith's trainer Joe Gallagher told Sky Sports, "It's supposed to have been a two-horse race, wasn't it? Now he's pulling himself out of it. Canelo has got no excuse now, but to fight Callum Smith. If that date and opportunity is put to Callum Smith, he's ready to go." Ryder told Sky Sports, "There's a few names in the hat. Hopefully my name is at the top and it gets picked out. Listen, he's looking for an opponent, and I know the money is not there for these big shows. It's a chance in a lifetime. I'm up for it." Ryder's trainer Tony Sims told Sky Sports, "I know that Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, his trainer, watched the Callum Smith-John Ryder fight, and Eddie Reynoso tweeted straight afterwards that he had John winning the fight by a few rounds. He actually put out there that John should be the world champion, so they know all about John Ryder anyway. Canelo is obviously the world's best. I believe he's the world's best pound for pound. Especially at the minute. He's a great fighter. Canelo has held major belts in 4 divisions, most recently knocking out WBO light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev."
Canelo Alvarez said to be taking a serious and significant pay cut ahead of his new fight in the pandemic. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. You guys seen the beginning. UFC 251. You can order it now. Use the link in the description of my video if you're interested in watching Jorge Masvidal versus Usman championship fight. They got some great fights on that card. I'll be tuned in, check in with you guys on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, sign up for the Patreon, link in the description, or the YouTube channel membership. We're really going to take things to the next level and keep continuing to grow. Now, Canelo Alvarez, he's said to be coming back. No announced opponent. There's some rumored names. There's been some, unique names like Anthony Durrell, who's coming off a stoppage loss to David Benavidez from the Errol Spence Sean Porter card. He was the co-feature with David Benavidez for the WBC title. I haven't heard anything recent about that. More recently, we've heard names like John Ryder and names like David Lemieux, maybe even Caleb Smith. You guys heard my trusted assistant at the beginning, Money Penny, and she did a hell of a job. The link to that article is in the description for attribution, and in case you want to read it in its entirety or read it yourself. And I don't know, I just want to give some of my thoughts to Canelo taking a significant pay cut. It's not surprising. Listen, I've said from the beginning, Dazn has such a flawed business model, and we can't sit up here and blame only the pandemic and say this is the sole reason why Dazn is financially in these dire straits. That's not entirely true, because there have been foolish decision making that is like processes since Dazn has been out for a very small period of time, let's say 2 years, and they've splurged and they were spending kind of foolishly to the point where it didn't make sense. I told you guys really from the beginning that I didn't understand some of these ideas. They were signing Canelo for allegedly, they said 11 fights, 10, 11 fights, and it was supposed to be the biggest contract in sports history. And I told you when they first came out, we were going to give it a chance, see what was happening. And I had concerns about it. One, where they're going to have Canelo trying to cherry pick because they want to preserve him and keep him winning since he hasn't technically on paper lost since the Mayweather loss. Would they just, try to put him in easy fights? And I think that's kind of been the case. That was one of my concerns. His, I guess, best fight would have been the Danny Jacobs fight. I would add the Kovalev fight to the list, but to me, it looked FAF. I don't know. Something about that fight looked off, and I don't think Canelo really shined in that fight, and it was out of nowhere. So I don't really trust that fight. But Danny Jacobs is really the only fight on Dazn that Canelo has had that I think it under-delivered as a fight, but it was a needed fight for the time. But other than that, Dazn has made a lot of foolish decisions to spend and splurge and aggressively try to get guys on. But getting guys on the platform, that's only half the battle. You got to make meaningful fights and fights that people want to see and things like that. And I just feel like Dazn has left the fans with a sour taste in their mouth. First, they said it was $9.99. It's like the bait and switch trick. Came out in the US, said, hey, we got this new thing. Pay-per-view is dead. Price is $9.99. Before you can even get to Canelo's serious fight, because I don't really consider the Rocky Fielding fight a good fight for Canelo. That was just the introductory fight, right? Before you can get to Canelo's actual meaningful fight, unification with Danny Jacobs, they had already raised the price. So in less than a year, they had raised the price by 100% from $9.99 a month to $19.99 a month, and they added an option to do an annual subscription. I told you from the beginning, with me, I only have a select few things that I know and trust on an annual subscription because I do like to pay ahead. But boxing, that was a weird marketing plan, because for me, the things that I pay up front, like annually, would be stuff like my Amazon Prime, because I've had the service for years. I use it for my business. I use it for my YouTube. I'm always buying new gadgets and cables and new microphones, cameras and mounts and different things like that, home furnishings and things like that. So I'm always using the service, so I know I'm going to get my money's worth and the 2-day shipping, etc. But boxing is such a fickle sport. Who's going to pay $100 up front And you got to worry about, even if fights are announced, you got to worry about, what if the guy fails a drug test? What if the guy pulls out with an injury? What if a guy, pulls out for some other reason, bereavement, or his dog died, or anything? Like I said, injury. Then you thought you just have to go with what they give you or what the substitute fight was. It's kind of hard. They keep saying when Dazn came out that it was the Netflix of boxing. I've never seen that parallel, and it's hard to convince people in a sport that's so up and down and fickle like boxing to just pay you all the money up front. So you'll save the most money if you buy it up front. But that's a big ask, because that's $100 gone at once, especially in a pandemic right now, and then $20 a month, that's like 60 times, like 60% higher than the $100 rate. So a couple months of that, then you were better off getting the yearly package. So, you have to kind of make that commitment all at once, and they don't make it easy with the differentiating price between their monthly service and their annual package, which is ridiculous when they raise their price. For example, you guys can use my link below and get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. Disney Plus, I pay for it for a year in advance, and Disney Plus is $6.99 a month, so way cheaper than DAZN, and that's $7, right? But even if you pay up front like I did, you only save about $1.33 a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a huge, significant, crazy savings. The breakdown is still, about $5 something a month rather than $6.99. But with DAZN, it's like you're paying $20, 20 times 12, or the $9.90 or the $99.99. So it's just a weird formula that they tried to implore, and it seems to be failing. And especially with this pandemic, that's made it worse. Now all of a sudden they're saying Canelo has to take a pay cut. And the funny thing is, DAZN has just constantly lied to the public. They said that pay-per-view was dead. Now Eddie Hearn, who's a spokesperson and promoter with DAZN, is saying that DAZN may have to go to a pay-per-view model for certain fights. No. You guys said bye-bye pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is dead. Oscar De La Hoya said it. This was the slogan. How do you just all of a sudden have this mantra and slogan and alleged value proposition, and now it's can't beat them, join them? You're losing money, which I predicted from the beginning. See, they really should have hired me from the beginning. I told you, somebody that actually knows boxing. You see what I'm saying? Because it's apparent that some of these decisions, how did I call it from the beginning that this was bound to fail, and there was a lot of holes in business flaws, in a sport like boxing? And they were saying that, like, Eddie Hearn, on top of that, came over pompous and, had that British posh attitude. We're going to trample the competition, and this is the American takeover, and you should just bet all the cards on us, bet all your chips on us, that we are the future of boxing. We're here to take over, America take over. And he came over too cocky, too strong. And now we're seeing articles like this. Canelo's taking a massive or significant pay cut. What? It's just so many lies from one company, right? Massive pay cut. But before, they said Canelo had the richest sports contract in history, and they said that he had guaranteed money. People like Floyd Mayweather did interviews, I think it was on Drink Champs or something, and he said Canelo's deal ain't like that. And people got mad at Floyd. People got mad at Ego when we talked about the business flaws, and writers and old media, they claimed, and fans, they claimed Canelo was getting guaranteed money. So how, pandemic or not, is he taking a significant pay cut, according to Golden Boy president Eric Gomez? Then you have other situations with Katie Taylor. Before the pandemic, was supposed to fight Amanda Serrano. Then that fight broke up over money, and then Eddie Hearn tried to threaten and block Amanda Serrano's money. Fast forward to the future, they just announced Katie Taylor in a rematch versus a fight we already seen in a robbery where Delphine Persoon should have won, and now she's having to battle Katie Taylor again, where in New York she was robbed. Now she has to go fight the same girl and try to convincingly win, you know, in Eddie Hearn's backyard, which, you know, that just seems rigged. You're fighting in your opponent, who is the one with the Netflix special, Katie Taylor, the one that they're pushing. You have to convincingly beat her or knock her out, most likely to win on the scorecards, because you see how they jerked you the first time, you know. So it's just been a lot of lies dealing with Dazn. Now they're saying Canelo doesn't have guaranteed money, apparently, because if he has guaranteed money, how's he taking a significant pay cut? You know, a bunch of clout chasing with fights. They've said that Ryan Garcia, you know, linked his name to Tank Davis or Devin Haney. They try to link Tevin Farmer's name with Tank Davis. They try to link Andre's name with Charlo, none of which happened. You know, what happened to Logan Paul and Jake Paul? They said Logan Paul and Jake Paul. They said Logan Paul was going to fight an NFL football player, Antonio Brown. Now they're talking about the biggest star on the app, Canelo Alvarez, has to take a pay cut. And the article says he may definitely fight a British fighter. Another thing I predicted, I said, how many fighters from the same concentrated area, Europe or Eastern European, does Canelo need to fight? I've talked about this several times. Boom. Now you see Sky Sports UK media saying that he's likely to fight a British fighter, you know, and this is being confirmed by his promotion. So you got Ryan Garcia mad at Golden Boy. Canelo's golfing with Steph Curry, and he doesn't seem to be on the same page as Golden Boy. Now Golden Boy rep and President Gomez is saying that he's taking a pay cut. It just seems all over the place. You know, why does Canelo need to take a pay cut if he has guaranteed money? You know, so many questions, so many lies, but it is what it is. That's what they're saying. We'll see what Canelo decides, but this pandemic, like I predicted, is hitting Dazn hard. Let me know what you guys think. Use that ESPN Plus link in the description box as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
You know what? Excuse my language.
Pay-per-view. Not just for DAZN, but also for the boxing landscape. I believe today, with this announcement, you will see the end of pay-per-view boxing in the US.
And Wilder, would that be joint?
Forget pay-per-view.
Okay.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's finished. Finished in America. This is the future.
And I want to start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, pay-per-view is dead. I'm actually happy to announce that pay-per-view is dead.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.